There we go. Let's light up the morning here. See how we want to do it. There you go. Right here. Come on, load her up. There we go. Excellent. There. Let's just crank that up a little bit. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. I am Dalton. This is Armstead Farms. You're watching the Footlong Farmer YouTube channel. Hey, all you tickers that can no longer talk, welcome to the good side. YouTube's better than TikTok anyways. The hell with them. The hell with them. We don't need them. So, anyways, Sunday morning, 20 degrees out. Those of you guys who have watched me for a while know. Sunday morning, first thing we do, we drive around, we check all the feed inventories. Which actually looks like we've got a pretty decent inventory going on in there. Pretty decent amount of feed. Yeah, usually first thing I do, drive around, check feeds. This morning, obviously, I figured we'd fire up those big diesel engines, let them warm up for 10-15 minutes while we're doing this. So, is that a crack? No, it's not that's not a crack in my windshield. Just something frozen for some reason. Anyways, yeah, gonna be a good day. It's gonna be good to get back into cows. We've been doing liquid manure, we've been digging sand, we've been filling lagoons in, we've been running bulldozers, excavators, tractors. I have not exactly been in with the cows much lately, so this will be good for sure. We will check on the dry cow packs. I do not see any babies. Cleveland still has not calved. We are officially considering inducing her in my mind. She is late. And to shoot down through, make sure nobody calved out in the barn. Generally they didn't or won't, but it's always good to check. Okay, and no babies. Back down, check the fresh group. Make sure everyone looks halfway decent. We will obviously check them again when they're headed to the parlor, but it's good to just put eyes on them to start the day off. And nobody is obviously in distress. So yeah, we will go and we will get feeding under motion here. I think we're gonna go up and feed group 1 first. We'll get them done and out of the way. Like I said, they've all got plenty of feed, so I'm not worried about anyone having to be fed early. It's actually probably the most uniform feeding I've seen in a long time. Like every group had just the right amount. So yeah, we'll go up and knock group 1 off quick. this is the control box for this mixer wagon. So this is the on-off switch. This controls your discharge spout, and this controls the speed in which your screws are turning. So I'm down to 500 pounds. We'll throw her in reverse here. Once you get down below like 4,000, you can pretty much wind it up. Similar to like a clean out on like a silage wagon. It just speeds those corkscrews up and allows any little feed that's stacked on top of them to get flicked off, and it allows you to quickly get everything discharged. Just this last little bit is always tough. Not tough. It just won't come out if you're just going regular speed. You got to speed stuff up, help that feed get out. It's one thing I don't like about the vertical mixer, the way that it's tosses at the end. Well, this vertical mixer, I know some of them have the conveyors. They seem to work, but that's more moving parts, more wear parts, chains to break, all that kind of stuff. One thing I did think about doing, I see a lot of mixer wagons just got a rubber flap that goes down over, so when it tosses it, instead of tossing it out onto the cow's head, it hits that rubber mat and goes down. Considered maybe doing something like that. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and load another milk cow load here. Gosh, one of those augers is making a heck of a screeching. So first ingredient we put in is our soy. It's just like a soy mineral mix. I don't know exactly what's in it, but we put in our soy, we put in a ground cornmeal, then we'll take it over there to the bunk where we put in haylage and corn silage. That's our whole ration. That's what the ration consists of. It's pretty simple. So we're gonna put in 2,200 pounds of soy. We're gonna put in 2,100 pounds of cornmeal. And as you guys can see, Jack washed his feed truck while it was warm this weekend. That looks sharp. Hell yeah, Jack, that looks nice. It's always nice to get them good and clean before it freezes up. Now that the driveways are frozen, hopefully it'll stay clean for at least a week here while it's nice and cold. All right, I got you guys kind of clamped in a funny spot here, but we'll see if that works. So we got our cornmeal and our soy in the truck. That puts us at 4,250. We now need to go to 9,300 pounds with our alfalfa haylage here. Let me see. It's the first load of the day, so I was just curious if anything was defaced. Doesn't look like it is. So I'll have to do that here after this load, but we're gonna go ahead and feed this load old school way here. Dig it out like this. Just flicking it down. Never lift up into a pile. Always flick the feed down. It's usually about 1.5 to 2 buckets depending on the dry matter. So this bucket should all go in. Alright, that puts us at 75. So yeah, it'll be a little bit under 2 buckets of haylage. Extra 40, 50 pounds, not a big deal. What I do too is after I put in my second bucket of haylage, if I have any leftovers, I just tuck it right here by this wall. It'll save trips around here. When I said extra 50 pounds wasn't a big deal, I'm not saying it's not important. Obviously I don't want to put in 50 extra pounds, but 50 extra pounds on 5,000 is what? Is that 1%? 1% error? If your entire feeding program was 1% error, you're doing pretty good. So, this is corn silage. As you guys are wondering, we do not feed BMR. We basically just plant dual purpose corn. In the future, looking at probably planting pretty strictly silage corn because we're planning on combining a lot less as our herd grows here. We're going to need more silage. We just need more room to put the silage. So, but for now, I don't know what percent of what companies this year. I think we planted 5 totes of decob seed and 2 totes of Brevant, if I remember correctly. Next year it'll be pretty similar, 5 totes of decob. I think we did get 1 tote ordered from FS, so that'll be new for us. And then whatever extra we need, we'll get from Brevant. So it's kind of a tight-knit area around here. The decob dealers are our next door neighbors and also related to us. Well, related to my in-laws, so I think they would be cousins and uncles, and my wife's second cousins. I think that's how that works. And the Brevant dealer is also related to us. He would be married to my wife's cousin. So yeah, kind of everyone around here has an in and is related. So we kind of get a little bit of seed from each company, but we have primarily planted decob just because they're right next door. And especially when you're considering growing grain corn, decob has always done very, very well for us. So yeah. Anyways, got to take this load up to 19,300 pounds, and then we will go get this load dumped off. I'll probably just rip the feeding off here first thing in the morning. I don't need to show you guys more than I already have. Generally, my Sunday videos run on for 35-40 minutes. I'd like to get it down into the mid to upper 20s. That's kind of where I find my videos are at their sweet spots. At least that's my opinion. So we're gonna let you guys go while we go and rip this feeding off. All right, well, I got load number 3 on, mixing up here. I'm gonna go start our manure system. Unless somebody already did. Kind of sounds like it might be running. Huh. Yeah, we'll go check it out. So we've got alley scrapers in this barn. Alley scrapers scrape into this pit. Yeah, somebody's already got this thing on. Okay, well, guess I don't gotta do that. So we got this Pat's auger that runs to that overhead door through this grate. So the alley scraper scrape it in there. The auger brings it this way down into this pit. There's a pipe, and on the other side of this wall right here, there's a Huel piston pump that shoves it through, I believe, an 18-inch pipe. Maybe it's a 12. I think it's an 18, over to our new lagoon. So that's the manure system. You can put them on a timer, but we just start them automatically here, or start them manually every few hours. So if I had to guess, when one of the guys came down to get group 3, they probably started it and they were planning on shutting it off when they come to get group 4. That's what I would imagine they did, although there wasn't really enough manure in there to justify it running for an hour, but that's not a big deal. Yeah, so that's the manure system. Pretty simple. This time of year, we like to keep the alley scrapers running pretty much nonstop, just so it doesn't give the manure time to freeze on the ground. This weekend, it was above freezing, barely, like we were at 34, 35. But tomorrow, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, we're looking at low single digits. So we're definitely gonna wanna keep these babies moving as much as possible. All right, well, we got all the milk cows fed. It is 5 o'clock now. I'm gonna start up the skid steer that I scraped barn with, because I'm gonna get the dry cows fed, and then I'm gonna start cleaning barn. While I'm down here, I've gotta come in and check fuel in our salamander heater. And against my better judgment, I'm gonna show you guys that barn, because a couple of you guys have asked about it. So what the heck, we might as well at least show you guys where it started off here. Glow plugs run, glow plugs run, glow plugs run. There she goes. A little chilly. That's why I say start her up, let it get warmed up for a while. So this is our original barn here. I couldn't tell you for sure if they actually ever milked cows in here. That was well before my time. When I started dating my wife, this barn was used for weaned calves. So you see there's old tie stalls along here. We used to just bed those with straw. We'd put grain in the feed bunk and silage, and we'd fill these hay feeders up with hay. And twice a day we'd go down through with a scraper and we'd scrape all of the manure off into this gutter cleaner, which goes out there and used to load a little slinger. Down here, same kind of thing, except these calves were a little bit bigger. But again, you got stalls down both sides, feed bunk down the middle, and same thing, we'd scrape it into the gutter cleaner. There is fans all along that end, but the reason we don't use it anymore, there was just the air in here was not good enough. When you throw in a lot of animals, it just couldn't keep the airflow moving. Not to mention you hit a certain size where things like gutter cleaners, you know, they become a headache. Anyone who runs gutter cleaners know once they get it all wore out, you spend more time screwing with a gutter cleaner than you do just, you know, getting the work done. Over here was box stalls, as you can see. In the wintertime, we do put our bull calves down here. Most of the year, they're in a super hutch up at the calf facilities up there. But the super hutch has a real open face on it. And when it's zero like this, bull calves are, you don't want them getting cold. This day and age, those things are worth a lot of money. So got to keep them healthy. So they're down here. So all I'm doing, we do heat this barn. We keep this barn, you know, generally right in the, try to keep it right around 40 degrees. Now, why do we do that? On the other side of this wall here is where all our weaned calves are now. And the water line that feeds that whole barn is right here. There it is. So that comes in from out there is our well house that feeds this lower part of the farm. So the lines go out and they're all overhead out there. But just through this door, there's a waterer, and just through the wall down there, there's a waterer. So just to keep water going to those two pens, we got to keep it warm in here. There are waters out there that do freeze, but the bigger heifers have automatic waters that come from here, so we got to keep that warm. Through this door here is the original herdsman's office, milk house, and our double six parlor. So on the other side of this door, this used to be the holding area. So when Jack would have heats, they'd pull cows through this door right here. They'd lock them up in these stanchions, and they would breed all their cows right here in these 3 stanchions, or 4, I guess. But yeah, so this is the original barn. Obviously, this is highly neglected because there's zero use for it. But I've had people ask about it, so there it is. Also, if anyone in, you know, Western New York or New York is looking for a parts unit, or I mean, the unit itself works, the chain's probably just the part that's wore out, shoot me a comment. I don't know, we'd probably make you a smoking deal on it if you get it out of here for us, but I would have to verify that with ownership. But I know this thing hasn't fired up and ran in probably 6 or 7 years. But it was working when we shut it off. Just the chain itself is what was wore out. And these corner wheels were pretty wore out as well. But yeah, let me know if anyone's in need of a unit or a parts unit. Sounds like the radio back in '94, you know. Hooked the speaker up to my soul. It sounds like the radio. Just thinking a little more about this TikTok ban. Doesn't really affect me at all in any way. But a couple of the bummers. One bummer for the guys that are like making a name for themselves on there, you know, particularly music artists. Zach Top. You know, that's kind of where I went. That's where I found like most of the songs that I like. If I'm being honest with you, over the last couple of years, like I don't really listen to the radio much. I mostly listen to podcasts, but if I find a new song that I like, 9 times out of 10, it came from TikTok. I would not have known about Zach Top, which if you don't know about Zach Top, you better get your head put on straight and go YouTube Zach Top, because the guy is an absolute legend. Yeah, I was just thinking that's kind of a bummer there, because that is where I get most of my music from. But other than that, it really doesn't affect me none. But barbecuing, every recipe I've used for the last like 5 years, I got off TikTok. So kind of a bummer there too. Maybe I'll have to start reading cookbooks again. Nah. Yeah. All right, well, we're up here in the new barn now, getting the dry cow pen scraped out, and then we're gonna take the fresh group to the parlor and get them cleaned out. Had a question in a video the other day if I could show these mattresses. Now, I know I've shown them before, but when I get a question, I try to answer it. So we are sand bedding. In our old barn, it's just deep beds. This barn, we put in these sand saver mattresses to try to cut down on our sand usage. So if you dig down here, about 3-4 inches, there's a rubber mat. It's a cover over top of a, I don't know what you would call it, just a mattress pad, I guess. So the curb in the back here, of course I'm right next to where I splattered some poop up on here, but anyways, the curb on the back here sets about 3.5 to 4 inches higher than the mattress. So essentially the sand should be 4 inches deep or more. We tend to try to taper it uphill towards the front so cows can get up a little bit easier. And then we've got this plastic PVC brisket board up front as well to try to keep some of the, to help give the cows something to lunge against. Also to help them, you know, keep them back away from the wall a little bit, which is also obviously the use of the neck rail. A lot of farms I see pile the fronts of the stalls right up with sand and kind of use that as a brisket board. A downside to that is, one, when the curtains are open, a lot of sand will fall out of these barns. You'll see a lot of freestall guys, the outsides of their barn have bedding all along the edge, which rots away the tin, and it just doesn't look quite as nice. So we like to keep the front end down a little bit. Also, it's a lot more sand you got to use, which kind of defeats the purpose of these mattresses. Now, the only thing, Todd and I have talked about this a couple times now, I kind of feel like the brisket board, instead of being hooked to the floor, should actually be hooked to the stall and hooked quite a bit higher. So that is I believe it's a 6-inch pipe. So the only problem with that is, if this curb is 4 inches higher than the floor, and that's 6 inches from the mattress floor, that means there's really only the top of the brisket board should, in theory, be 2 inches higher than the back of the curb. That really that's not enough. You need, I don't know if it should be a bigger pipe, or like I said, if you hooked that pipe to the stall and had it right at the bottom of the stall, and then you filled it in with sand, because we don't have any trouble at all. On a rare occasion, a fresh cow will, you know, get up over the brisket board, which she probably would, whether we had brisket boards or not. You know, fresh cows, when they get milk fever, they tend to lunge and not be able to get up regardless. But yeah, I just kind of feel like that brisket board should maybe be either a bigger pipe or bracketed a little bit higher. But I will say it has cut down significantly on sand use. Again, for those of you who have heard me say this, I'm sorry I'm repeating myself, but so for our fresh group over there, that's the same number of cows as each pen in our other barn has. We've got 5 pens. They're all equally spaced with cows. About 180 cows each pen. Maybe closer to 190. So in the old barn, we put 3 of our mensch sand bedder loads a week, 1 per row. Up here, I put 2 loads per week, which you say, yeah, Dalton, that doesn't sound like much difference. 33%, guys, that is absolutely massive. those of you guys who have seen me spreading sand for the last, 10, 12 days, realize the number of loads that we have to pull out of our lagoons. And that's after what I was able to agitate up and haul out with the liquid. So if you factor in a third, if we could successfully get that on the whole farm, wow, like that is an absolute massive difference. So yes, mattresses are expensive. Yes, eventually they will wear out and have to be replaced. Hopefully, a decade or more down the road. But so far, my opinion, they are more than worth it. Also, we do not have to groom the stalls with the mattresses. In the old barn, we hit them with our groomer rake once a week just to keep everything leveled and keep the clumps broke up. With the mattresses, we haven't groomed these once. We've been in here now for 14 months, and we've been very, very happy with them. So kind of a long-winded answer there, but see, even here, look at this. Look at this big Montrose cow. See how she's got her front legs kind of up on there? Now she won't have any trouble getting up, but that's just because she's a big healthy cow. But I don't like that. Like, the cows should be laying behind the brisket board, not up on top of the brisket board. So that's kind of what I mean. This is more, I want the cows laying more like this big alphabet here. I'd be happier with that than that. But all in all, it's been an excellent decision going with these. So, yep, just wanted to share that. Long-winded answer, but those are our Sand Saver mattresses. The ideal commercial dairy cow. Big Josepher, big cow, smoking udder, deep, wide. She's walking away. Love to see her walk away. But anyway, those are my kind of cows. Big, square, uphill run, wide, smoking udders, make lots of milk. That one's obviously plenty fat, but look at how wide. Those are my kind of cows. Those are all deer. I don't know if you guys can see through those gates or not, but there's probably 12, 15 deer right there, 50 yards from me. They must be getting pretty used to me scraping right here. Come right up that close. You can see their tails. So on this bank here, through soil and water, when we built this lagoon, part of the plan was, part of the deal with this lagoon is, we're working on water quality and soil erosion and all of that around the farmstead. So that whole hillside over there, we kind of planted it's like a cover crop, perennials, grasses to prevent erosion and stuff. And apparently the deer really like them right now when it's this cold out. They have some perennial grasses that were 4 foot deep going into fall. Yeah, they're just hanging out there. They're not bothered by me at all. That's good. That's what we want. It's pretty cool. All right, dry cows are all cleaned out. Group 1 doesn't need to go to the parlor for probably 20, 30 minutes. So I'm gonna go down. I've got 2 loads of heifer feed I gotta run off yet. And then that'll completely wrap up feeding. So taking a nice little stroll under the moon. It ain't a full moon, but boy, is it bright. Yeah, nice little walk. All right, this is a fresh cow. She just had a beautiful calf. I'll show you guys here in a minute. Big Millington cow, Millington or Willington, I can't really remember, but she did not have straps on, so I just painted her up. That's sweetheart. I had her in the lockup. She just got calcium gel tube and some lactate boluses. Just being an older cow, being a little preventative here. So yeah, you'll see I painted her up pretty good. So when she goes in the parlor, the guys will know she's treated and needs leg straps on. So we're putting her over in the fresh group right now. Yeah, beautiful calf. Come on, girlies. All these other girls are being nosy. Come on. Ah, you tool bags went and opened the gate. All right. Well, I guess I got to bring them back then. Back it up, sweethearts. Come on. Back it up. Back it up now. Come on, girls. There we go. Troublemakers. Come on. That's what you love to see, though. You love the fresh cows diving right into that feed like that. I need you to go a little bit further, though, girl. I can't get the gate shut here. Please and thank you. Good deal. Apparently, that's the 4th calf born today. Before I got here this morning, there were already 3 calves born. So, that was a busy morning. Big Betty White, she's overdue as well. We got a couple on the pack that are overdue. Big Solomon cow. There's that Josepher from earlier. Wow, she's standing still. Just a tank, an absolute tank. Be excited to see her freshen in for another lactation. This morning's haul. These are the 1, 2, 3 were born this morning, and then this one with the green tag. She's the one that was just born out of that cow there. She's got some really cool markings on her. That's just a cool looking head. Here. She's got kind of a little white stripe on her back. Tail's half white and half black. Like, that's a cool looking little calf. I'll have to look up and see what she is. But it's nice and warm in here. This is our warming room. We are, as you guys don't know, we're just outside the cabin packs here. You can see the heat coming out of this thing. This has in-floor radiant heating in there, and it's nice and insulated. In our bedroom here, you can see we've got all the hot water lines that head under and keep this room and the other room nice and warm. This room doesn't even really need to be heated. Just all of these electronics keep it plenty warm enough. That's why we got a screen door here. In the summertime, we actually take the big door off because it gets really hot in there. So, yeah. All right then. Well, all the main stuff is actually pretty much done. It's 8:30. All the cows are fed. Fresh cows are taken care of. I got a heifer load to go, one more heifer load to go feed, and then might get a load of sand and fed the heifer barn, being that we're kind of kicking ass, I guess, time-wise. Stupid things. So, yeah, that's what we're gonna go do. Beautiful morning, sun's up. All right, we are up at our bin site. This is what we call the Wellman farm. We've got, I don't know, 110 head pregnant, far along pregnant heifers up here. Every morning we bring up about 7,000 pounds of feed, dump it off, and we clean this barn twice a week up here. So, yeah, up here, so from the far end of our ground all the way down below here, there's 470 acres of continuous ground. That's ours. No hedgerows, nothing. We've got them in strips of about 40 to 50 acres a chunk. As I said, this is our grain storage. We've got 4 10,000 bushel bins. This little bin here is our wet bin. And then up in there, we've got a continuous dryer. So this is what, when I say our grain site or the Wellman farm, this is what I'm referring to. I can show you guys this barn quick. So you get up in here, this barn, it's got mattresses and obviously freestall loops. We've never bedded up here. The mattresses have always been enough comfort, but we are gonna start bringing up some sand and bedding them just a little bit. As you see, they do get a little dirty, and it would help our footing up here too with the number of heifers that we run up here. This back side is the old barn. We use it for straw storage, but that's the same length as the barn. I'll be honest, this barn, there's a lot of times we complain about it. I'll be honest, I do too. It is, 2 miles from the farm, so having to bring feed up here. We don't keep a skid steer up here, so having to truck a skid steer up here to clean it twice a week, having to drive the spreader up to clean it, moving heifers around. Boy, it'd be nice if all these animals were just at the home farm you know, for ease of moving, cleaning, feeding, everything. It would just, on paper, it would be more efficient to have them all at home. Having said that, the way that I was raised, it's kind of hard for a lot of people to understand. But I look at this barn, I see 100 free stalls, good roof, headlocks, a roof outside, couple automatic waterers. And where my brain goes is, boy, these stalls are plenty big enough for milk cows. You could punch off the side of this thing and put in a, you know, double 8, double 10 parlor, milk 120 cows in this barn, and boy, that would be a lot of fun. 120 cows, brand new mattresses, brand new stall loops, brand new headlocks, brand new outdoor roof, 470 acres right here. That'd be probably double what you would need to feed that herd of cows. You could put up all your grain right there. You could probably put animals out in that shed there. That's just storage right now, or you could just have someone raise all your heifers and you could just milk 120 cows right here. That sounds like a lot of fun. That's how I was raised. You see a barn that's old and inefficient to a lot of people, but boy, to me, it's like, if we didn't have the farm down there and I was looking at getting into milking cows, barns like these are cheap around because, you know, big guys are starting to get away from them. Because like I said before, they don't want to deal with truck and feed, trucking animals. They want everything in one spot. And don't get me wrong, I hear you. Like I said, I complain pretty often about how it is kind of a pain in the butt to have to deal with animals up here. But at the same time, it's bought, it's paid for. The animals look good and they're happy. So until the barn falls down, or, you know, we get big enough where it just really doesn't make sense, or we got to put new stall loops in it again and it's going to be $30,000, $40,000 to put stalls in up here, then that wouldn't probably make sense at the time. But for now, it's not a big deal at all to truck feed up here and to move animals around, even though we do complain about it. Like I said, that's kind of how I was raised, to look at old barns like this and think, boy, if we didn't have what we had, this would really be something, I think. Like I said, it's quite a uniform bunch of heifers up here. It's got a waterer there and a waterer there. So that was kind of the tour of the Wellman farm. I don't know. Let me know your guys' thoughts and opinions on it. Like I said, I completely understand both sides of the argument. So I think we're going to go ahead and wrap the video up there. It's kind of mid-morning. Yeah, don't really got a whole lot going on now. And like I said, I'm trying not to make my videos quite so long. I enjoy that low to mid-20s range. Some of you prefer them a little shorter. Some of you don't really have a preference. But I kind of think like I said, that's my sweet spot in my opinion. And it's my channel, so that's what I'm going to do. So anyways, guys, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. I hope you guys enjoyed. Got to see a couple new barns. Those of you guys who are new, hell yeah. Hit that like and subscribe button. Tell everyone about it. We're going to try doing more YouTube shorts now that TikTok's done. Maybe we can gain some followers that way. So I hope you guys liked the video. Hit that like and subscribe button. We'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.